All right, what's going on, guys? I wanted to make this quick little video because I had this this just extremely brutal realization about, pet owners, people who own pets. It's just so cringe, man. And aside from that, I think it's just extremely inhumane, because I was out for a drive. There's this Petco next to this mattress store that's like not too far from my new apartment, and it's been a while since I've been in Petco, and I just decided to take a look. I was thinking like, should I get like a fish or something? It just was like a 2-second thought, but when you really when you boil down to it, right? Like I walked in and like one of the corner of the aisles, there's like a bunch of betta fish in these little tiny, if you've ever been to Petco, you know what I'm talking about, but like they're these little tiny pint-sized like containers, these plastic containers with like a hole poked in the top. And I shit you not, half of these betta fish, were just croaked, just brutally croaked upside down. I was just tapping on the glass. Like if I was an idiot, I'd be like, oh, they're sleeping. But no, it's a wrap. It's over, and I'm just thinking like, Jesus Christ, like in this little tiny container, right? That's like your whole life, especially even like the tanks. They have like, I noticed it was like 10 cents a fish. I guess people use them as bait, or you probably could. I don't know. But just imagine that. There's like all these little tiny fish and they're probably all males too, just swimming around in this tank. We're going to make it, boys. Oh my God, boys. Oh, one of them's going, bro. Oh. Only to be used as bait. It's like that Sausage Party movie, if you've ever seen it. You know how like there's like all the food items thought they were going to this great beyond, and like they all end up getting like fucking like cut up and shit, like all the carrots. But yeah, it's probably what it's like. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just have this weird, of course, like I'm going to have people rush in and be like, oh, well, humans are, more intelligent and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, yeah, that's true. But maybe I'm just weird. I just have like this weird sort of like empathy towards like when I see like caged animals, I just feel fucking horrible. Cause I mean, I'm not the type of person to own a pet. I mean, what am I going to do? I'll get a goldfish. I'll come back to my apartment late as hell at night. It's going to be dark. The fish is going to be sitting in the dark the whole day. What? I'm going to turn the lights on. Hey, goldfish, how you coping there, bud? Just sitting in this tank alone by himself. If anything, I'd have to get him like a female fish or some shit. Because I remember there's this Chinese spot that wasn't that far away from, my old home in Brooklyn. And every time I would wait for my food, I would sit next to this like tank of goldfish. There's only 2 of them, or I think they were koi's actually. I couldn't tell. You want to know why? Because the fucking tank was just completely green. I swear to God, just this green, mucky like algae everywhere. You could hardly see the fish, but whatever the fish were, there was 2 of them and they were orange. And there's no like rocks on. I mean, maybe who the fuck knows? The tank was completely algae green. Every time I went into that place, it was just algae green. And still, I bet they were both males too, to make it worse. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, people just don't take care of their animals as it is. I did have like a lot of animals growing up, because I grew up in the middle of nowhere before my parents got divorced. And I did have a bunny rabbit. And that was like sort of a mistake. I got bored of them. And that's the thing. Like when you're a kid anyway, but like I just recall having a lot of pets as a kid and then getting bored of them within a month and then just being like, okay, and having my parents kind of take care of them for me. But the bunny rabbit I did have, he would sit in my dad's shed in this cage, just like locked up in this cage with like one of those water feeders. Like the rabbit would just like stick his head out of like one of like the little spaces in the cage and just like suck the water out. And it had like an auto food one too. And it just, I swear to God, like for months on end, this thing would just fucking, we never even like took him out of there until one day. I remember, I had like a play date with a friend and, he was over and I took the bunny out and it was fine for like a few minutes and then it like attacked me. It like scratched my neck up and all this shit. And my dad just brought him back to the farm. And like looking back on it now, I'm like, what the fuck? Like what a life for that rabbit. It just rotted in this cage, was probably so pissed off that it was isolated that it fucking attacked me. And my dad just brings it back to the farm. Honestly, that's probably the best thing. Cause I remember that farm. There's like a bunch of like chickens, rabbits. There's like a whole bunch of shit. you know, like anything you could think of. I swear to God, it was like there from like what I remember. But, I don't know, especially, you know, I think it's like the most common pet, what I will say is like obviously dog owners, cat owners. I can't stand dogs nowadays. And, you know, just, even from like my personal experience, you know, having to put a dog down that you've known for years and years, like my dog was like 18 or some shit when I had to put him down. You know, it was like a couple of years ago, and I'm not sure if I ever talked about it, but, it was rough. You know, that's another reason why I'll never get a pet. And just looking back, it just kind of, like most dog owners, they don't train their dogs. They don't really, like, they love their dogs and shit, but they're just, like, what do the dogs do? I just find it very, like, cruel that we keep them in these houses, right? Most people work, their dog's at home. It barely goes out. It only goes out to, like, pee or poop, and that's it. And, like, that's kind of what was happening to my dog. It just lost control of its bladder, and we'd been wanting to put him down for, like, the longest time, man. Like, such a long time, because he literally couldn't hold it. Like, he actually had his kidneys were failing. And, the day finally came where he just couldn't stop yelping. He couldn't just hold anything, and he just was, like, old. You know, my dog, I'm not even fucking joking. He was balding. His teeth were, like, practically all gone out of his head. Severe cataracts, sort of like my grandma's dog. I'll talk about that in a second. But this thing was just done for, and like, it just was so painful to like do this shit. So, you know, my mom made an appointment at the time, and I had to take the dog. And I was sad. That was like the saddest shit. I remember bringing a shoebox because I was going to like throw him in there and like bury him somewhere. And, you know, when I got there, I was like, hey, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. I was like sad as fuck. And I was going to wait in the waiting room. You know, I was going to wait there. There's like a couple other people with their dogs. I was just going to sit there while the whole thing was done. And this woman comes out, you know, the one that was euthanizing my dog. She comes out and she goes, oh, you know, he needs you. You're going to regret not being there for your dog. You're not. And it pisses me off because fuck what she said, man. That shit traumatized the absolute fuck out of me, because I remember she talks me into it. I'm like, okay, maybe she's right. Maybe I'll regret it. And yeah, I'm just like sad as fuck. I'm like on the verge of tears. I didn't even want to go in the fucking to like watch this. You know, some people do that. You know, they comfort their dogs. I didn't want to do that. It was just going to be too fucking painful. And I was right. And this woman, so what she does, she goes, okay, well, this needle will put him asleep, and then this one will stop his heart. And I'm like, how can you do this? You know what I mean? Just like it was like some psychopath shit. She didn't even like, she was like happy about it. I swear to God, she was like very cheerful and happy. I don't know, to like cheer me up or something, but it just seemed really fucking weird. And when everything was all said and done, like as my dog just slowly went to sleep, I'm not going to lie, like I cried, but she didn't even, like, it was literally 2 seconds later, she goes, okay, it'll be $300 to cremate your dog. She's like, here's our plan, $300 to cremate. And I was like, I didn't even get like a fucking second. And it kind of like pissed me off, like, you know, like driving home, kind of thinking about it at that time. I remember like I was really mad because I didn't even get to like grieve at all. She's just like, oh, time to cremate your dog. Oh, $300. And I told her, I'm like, I got a shoebox, you know, can you just throw them in there? Like, and just, you do it. Cause I couldn't look. I swear to God, I actually couldn't fucking look. And she was like, okay. And then but she still kept trying to talk me into like, oh, well, if you cremate your dog, you can make a necklace out of him and have him on your neck forever near your heart. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't even, and the whole ride home, I'd never opened that box. I was like, I put him in the back seat. I remember just driving home, not like sobbing, crying, but like, you know how guys cry. You just like kind of tear up a little bit, and you're just like, you get a lump in your throat. You never like full force cry as a guy. And yeah, I buried him, and that was fucking brutal as shit. And I'm like, yeah, why the hell would I even do that? But the thing, I like get another dog. But the thing, what I will say about that, people who keep getting the same dogs over and over again because they can't cope, like when their dog passes, like, you know, my old high school friend, his dad was the same way. I remember my sophomore year, we were sitting next to each other in math class, and he had a golden retriever dog that had just died. And they always kept the thing, I swear to God, they always kept this dog out all the time, like just chained to like the porch, like the front, like the metal bar on the porch. And I would see this dog every time me and him would like come home from school or walk home, whatever it was. We would just I would pass his house all the time, and his dog would just be sitting out there. It didn't matter if it was snowing, freezing, you know, if it was raining, if it was blazing hot. It didn't matter what the temperature was. That dog was always out there all the time, just never moved. And the dog died, and he was just bitching the whole week about how like his dad, you know, his boomer dad cannot cope with the loss of the golden retriever. And I think like not even a week went by, and and they got an exact duplicate. Like, I swear to God, it was like a younger version of the dog. And I kept like making a joke how like that thing just fucking reincarnated. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what's up with that? Why do you have another dog that's the same thing except younger? And he's like, because I would pass and his dad would be like, that whole week that the dog died, his dad would just be outside, just like holding his bald head, like his bald spot, and just like, I don't know what he was doing. Like he had, he would like look down, and he had like his just bald spot looking down. He had like both of his hands on his head. Like you could tell he was depressed. And then, yeah, I saw the miniature like reincarnated dog, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, you guys got another dog? He's like, yeah, my dad just couldn't cope. He just could not cope. And my friend was all pissed off at the time. You know, he was like, what the fuck? You know, why are we getting another dog? Blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, I mean, that's just like kind of how some people are. They just, like my grandmother's probably even worse. You know, before she passed, she had 3 of the same dogs with the same name, same sort of like just appearance and looks, you know, and shit. Like she had these Pomeranians. She always did, you know. She had 5 of them that would just kind of bark around the house. And like as she got older, she only kept 1. And anytime it would die, she would just get another one. And like, how fucking insane do you have to be to do that? Just think about this. You can't cope that hard. You know, these normies can't cope that hard to the point where they have to get like a fucking another dog and name it the same bullshit, you know? Like, it just blows my mind. I mean, my grandmother, you know, she was lonely as it is. She didn't have an easy life. She didn't graduate high school. She never worked a job. She lived in a fucking trailer. I mean, my grandfather was horrible to her, you know, and these dogs were practically her lifeline. So I guess it's like understandable why you would get another pet and name it the same thing when you're like, that's like all you do, you know. That's like all, that was like her whole cope, her only cope. Her whole life was just sitting on a couch, smoking, drinking beer, and just playing with the dogs. And she would always scream at the dogs like really loud, you know, with the smoker voice. She'd be like, sit down, ah. And anytime because she never trained the dogs, she never had any of her dogs trained. She never let them out the house. And this dog in particular, it did have bladder problems as well. At least I'm 100% sure it did, because it couldn't hold its pee and poop. And it wasn't even, it was like diarrhea, and the piss was like this dark orange. And I can't even describe the smell, because I noticed when I got there, right, I would see this all over the floor. I'd see like a diarrhea dog pile on the floor, and I'd clean it up. I'd see a piss puddle, clean it up. And then it got to a point where I'm like, why am I the only one doing this? And I just kind of gave up. And there'd be like so many nights where I just, you know, it'd be like 2 a.m. I go to the kitchen, just, you know, step in like a nice steaming pile of dog crap with my sock on, you know, my luck, or a piss puddle. You know, that would happen all the time. And it was just so gross. The smell was just so rank, you know, like burnt coffee, like just the darkest coffee, no creamer, no nothing, just burnt coffee and like onions, like raw onions. That's like the smell, you know. And I kind of guess I got nose blind to it. God, that was hell on earth. But yeah, you know, just why own an animal if you're gonna, and the dog couldn't bark. It would just be like, like it made no noise, you know, it hardly did. And yeah, my grandma would just scream at this thing all day, like literally all day long. Like it would just, or talking to the cats. They had like a lot of cats. But yeah, they would just be up all night, just drinking and all that shit. And the dog would just be roaming around. The cats would be just roaming around. And I just could not stand it. I got like so sick. I don't know if it was like the water as well. They had like this really rank like water that just, I don't know what, like the tap water was just terrible, and it just tasted like chemicals, and I think I got like really sick from that. Just not a good experience, not a good experience at all. But that dog, I just remember telling my grandmother, I'm like, he's got to go soon, or he's going to die soon anyway. She's like, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that, she's fine. And what do you know, like a year later, the dog died. So, because I think that thing was like older than me at the time, or like the same age. It's crazy, right? Those small dogs live a long time. Small dogs really do live a long time. And that's the thing that kind of pisses me off too. Like, are we that entitled to just kind of domesticate and like create animals to our liking, whatever kind of genes, whatever. It's just like inbreeding dogs to make them look cute. I'm not even joking. If you want to like see some, find some interesting history of, dogs, the pug dog. There's this woman named Queen Victoria. I'm not entirely sure if she's like the real reason why pugs are like this. But then again, I mean, who's breeding these dogs? Dogs, I think, should truly be out in nature. I think it's like very inhumane and cruel to like domesticate any wild animal, honestly. Look at what happened to us. We built all this shit for us. We might as well be fucking animals. We're not out in the wild, And it's just like so unnatural. Like, I think things will be way better if we just dropped all this technology and all this progression, and just go back to just simpler times as it is anyway, Doctor, please. This is what you'll hear now. Doctor, please, I can't cope in my pod. Doctor, please put me on the strongest antidepressant, please. I also need a weed refill. Give me the max THC. Oh my God, I'm so depressed. It must be a chemical imbalance. Oh my God, my iPad just died. Oh my God, my soy burger. Oh my God, they gave me a small fry instead of a medium. I'm gonna die. Oh my God, it's my brain chemistry. Oh, like, this is just how people are nowadays. And like for animals, I mean, I just think they should be out in nature, man. I think that's why it's important for like to go for walks and shit. And just like, go into like go on like a reservation or something and just go for walks. It's good to be in tune with nature, but like, how do you think these animals feel though? Like this isn't any like vegan shit, but, it must suck, like it must suck. Especially, the pug dog that's severely inbred to the point where it's got all these issues. If you've ever seen like a video of a pug dog barking, we've fucked them up so bad trying to make them look like, cuter or whatever when they have all these problems. And like, if you see a video of them barking, they go, ah, ah. Like, I swear that's what they sound like. And like their eyes are bulging out as they're barking. They look like a fucking alien, And I'm like, what? Because those things would never survive out in the wild. We practically just made those for human entertainment. I mean, that's just like the reality of it. We just made them just to, oh, cool, just to be less lonely. Yeah, there you go. For what? Like, what are dogs, like, besides companionship and affection that dogs give people, what's the other, like, I don't know. Am I weird or something? Am I the only one that finds it, like, fucked up to own a dog? Like, I've seen a fair share of crappy dog owners before, and, people who just yell at their dog, or they'll smack their dog for something, and, I always just, like, cringe my ass off, too, when people start screaming at their dog in English, telling it not to do something or do this or do that. I just like facepalm. I'm like, these dogs don't know shit. They don't know English. They go by tonality. They probably don't know what they're doing wrong anyway. They don't, because I remember like, even my Korean neighbor, he had gotten a puppy. I forgot what dog breed it was, but it was a pretty big dog, and I was like a small kid, I was over his house one day. I think we were playing, I was trying to play fucking Black Ops 2 with him, but he had like some other kid over and he wouldn't let me fucking use the controller. Or it might have been either GTA 5 or Black Ops 2, probably both. It's happened on multiple occasions, but that was like when those games came out, and I was like probably like 12, and their dog just kept like dry humping my fucking leg over and over. And I didn't know what that was. I swear to God, I was like, what the fuck? Why does he keep moving his legs back and forth on my leg? Like, I had no idea. And, you know, his dad finally just like kind of snapped and just grabbed the fucking dog and like slammed it across the room. And I was like, what the fuck? And, he was like, no, stop, no. And, of course, the dog just did it again. Like, it's a fucking animal, bro. Like, it has needs, it has desires. It's you know, obviously it's young. That's why it's dry humping me. And you're just like kind of, you know, screaming at the dog, bad dog for doing what your dogs do. Bad dog for doing what dogs do. Like, it's just scummy behavior. I don't know. That's why, like, another reason why I don't want to own pets. Also, as well, before I left New York City, I talked about this on my channel. This woman that I had like a sexless relationship, I wouldn't even call it. I think she was mostly just like a roommate at that point. I mean, there's really no way to go about it. I mean, I think she was just sort of like a friendly roommate, but she was very toxic, like very angry all the time. And I'll never forget when she fucking punched her dog, like really, like actually swung because it ate her Burger King croissant, you know, just screaming, "That's my fucking food." Like, God, people, just some people do not deserve to own dogs, man. Just like some people shouldn't have kids, you know? And I always, like, laugh my ass off at, like, those who get, like, exotic animals, like a tiger. You guys remember that Siegfried and Roy shit? The tiger, oh, no, he'll never attack me, you know, I'll never get attacked. And, like, you'd have to be an idiot to own, like, a tiger, a bear, even a chimpanzee, you know? That one woman who, I forgot who the fuck this was, but there's, like, a 911 call audio. She had a chimpanzee. I think the chimpanzee was on fucking Xanax or some shit. I swear to God, the fucking chimp was on fucking Xanax. You would think that would, like, calm you down, but her friend came over and the chimpanzee, like, ripped her whole face off and shit, you know? And it's like, yeah, like, way to go. Yeah, I kept a pet, you know, now I'm subhuman. But yeah, somehow she survived. Like, she lost her vision and a bunch of other shit, but she's fine. Okay, she's not fine, but that's why you shouldn't own an animal like that. You know, why the fuck are you? Because here's the thing. Humans beat the fuck out of each other. If I can't even trust my own people, why the fuck would I trust an animal? You know, even dogs, you know, like those pit bulls and what's another aggressive dog? German shepherds are pretty aggressive. But the pit bulls especially, that's the kind of like the number one I can think of. What makes you think that dog won't attack you? You know what I mean? One day, just because like it's mad, and then you're like fucked up. You know what I mean? For like the rest of your life, it could like, you know, do what happened to that woman. Your fucking eyes are gone. You know, you get your fucking thumb bitten off. You know, so it's just a stupid idea to own an animal anyway. You know, like I just don't see a point. And I find like most pet owners are just really weird. I don't know. They're either very like narcissistic and like trying to use their dog as like a fucking fashion statement, like, oh, my dog is so cute, oh my God, look at him, oh. Or you're just a bad pet owner. I don't know. I just can't ever own a pet again. I just don't see the point. Even cats suck, even though they can go like in a litter box or whatever. I just don't really give a shit about it, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now.